After a general election, 543 politicians arrive in New Delhi with 543 different sets of priorities. To keep this mass of competing mandates from descending into legislative gridlock, the chamber snaps into a rigid structure. The Indian Parliament does not operate as a loose debating club. It is a machine governed by a strict procedural framework, and that framework requires absolute umpires to function. These umpires are the presiding officers, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, and the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. This physical chamber is designed around the chair's authority. The presiding officer controls who speaks, which motions are admitted, and when the House adjourns. To understand how parliamentary authority actually works, we will trace the process from the first day of a new session to the specific discretionary powers that even the courts cannot challenge. Mastering the logic behind these roles, rather than just memorizing article numbers, is the only way to correctly answer the complex statement-based questions found in competitive exams. On the first day a newly elected Lok Sabha meets, the House faces an immediate leadership crisis. Under the Constitution, the previous Speaker must vacate their office right before this first meeting. This leaves the House without a presiding officer to swear in the new members. To resolve this, the President of India appoints a temporary pro tem Speaker to lead the first sitting. While the President has the power of appointment, convention dictates that they select the senior-most member of the House for this temporary post. The pro tem Speaker's authority is highly focused. Their primary duty is to administer the constitutional oath to the 543 newly elected members. This office is strictly a stopgap. The moment the sworn members elect a permanent Speaker, the pro tem office ceases to exist. The pro tem role serves as a constitutional bridge, ensuring the House safely transitions to a functioning legislative body. Once the members are sworn in, Article 93 requires the Lok Sabha to elect its permanent Speaker from among its own membership. We can map the Speaker's immense discretionary powers using the acronym MAGIC. It begins with M for money. Under Article 110, the Speaker's certification of a money bill is final. The A represents the Speaker's role in anti-defection cases. Under the 10th Schedule, the Speaker acts as the sole judge to decide on the disqualification of members who switch parties. J and I cover joint sittings and impartiality. The Speaker presides over joint sessions of both houses and maintains neutrality by only voting in the event of a tie. Finally, C stands for committees. The Speaker appoints the chairpersons of all parliamentary committees, effectively controlling the House's administrative and oversight functions. Through these specific powers, the Speaker functions as more than just a moderator. They are simultaneously a procedural judge, a financial gatekeeper, and the administrative head of the lower house. This leads to a procedural dilemma. How can the House remove a presiding officer who holds absolute control over the House's procedures? Article 94 provides the mechanism. A Speaker can be removed by a resolution passed by an effective majority, but only after a mandatory 14-day notice period. This creates a unique procedural situation. During the removal discussion, the Speaker can be present, can speak, and can vote, but they strictly cannot preside over the session. When the Speaker is sidelined, the procedural integrity of the entire House depends on the Lok Sabha Secretariat. This is a permanent administrative body that is constitutionally independent of the government. It ensures the executive cannot interfere with internal House procedures. The Secretary General of the Lok Sabha, who holds a rank equivalent to the Cabinet Secretary, is responsible for receiving and scrutinizing removal notices to ensure they comply with the mandatory 14-day notice. The Secretariat functions as an institutional buffer. By placing the scrutiny of these motions in the hands of permanent officials, the Constitution ensures that even the most sensitive leadership crises are handled according to established procedural rules. To assist in these duties, the House elects a deputy Speaker. It is a common misconception that they are subordinate to the Speaker. In reality, the deputy Speaker is directly responsible only to the House. Their primary role is to assume all powers and functions of the Speaker whenever the chair is vacant or the Speaker is absent. Since 1996, a convention has developed where the deputy Speaker is elected from the main opposition party. This practice aims to maintain a balance of trust between the ruling alliance and the opposition. While the Speaker manages procedure, the flow of political business is managed by the leader of the House, usually the Prime Minister, and the leader of the opposition. Becoming the official leader of the opposition requires meeting a strict statutory threshold. A party must secure at least 1/10 of the total seats in the House to claim the title. These rules ensure that while the Speaker holds the procedural gavel, the House maintains the organized friction necessary for meaningful debate. The Rajya Sabha, or Council of States, follows a different model of presiding authority. The Rajya Sabha chairman is not a member of the House they lead. This is a fundamental difference from the Speaker, who must be an elected member of the Lok Sabha. Article 64 establishes that the Vice President of India acts as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. This tradition began with Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, the first vice president to preside over the council. Because the chairman is an external authority and not an elected peer of the House, they are constitutionally barred from certain powers. They cannot certify money bills and cannot preside over joint sittings of Parliament. In contrast, the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha is elected from within the membership of the council itself. This design creates a dual role for the chairman. They serve as a nationally elected executive officer while presiding over a federal house, a structure that distinguishes the permanent Rajya Sabha from the directly elected lower house. To correctly identify these officers in an exam setting, we can compare the two systems across 4 key friction points. First, consider membership and election. The Speaker is a member elected only by the Lok Sabha. The chairman is a non-member, elected by an electoral college comprising both houses of Parliament. Next is the resignation process. The Speaker resigns to their deputy Speaker. The chairman, however, resigns their office to the President of India. Removal procedures are also distinct. The Speaker is removed by the Lok Sabha alone. The chairman can only be removed by being stripped of the vice presidency, a process that requires an absolute majority in the Rajya Sabha and the agreement of the Lok Sabha. Finally, remember the financial divide. Only the Speaker has the power to certify a money bill. The chairman has no authority in this matter. These two roles are tailored to their respective houses. The Speaker represents the popular mandate of the Lok Sabha, while the chairman ensures the federal continuity of the Rajya Sabha. Together, they uphold the procedural rules that define Indian democracy.